What's up, everybody? It is damn good to see you. Welcome to The Sweat, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. I am your host, Emerson Latzia. As you can see, I am not alone. We got DraftKings contributor Steve Buchanan here. We got VSiN's Josh Applebaum. We got Julian Edlow hanging out with us virtually as well, looking like Mr. Autumn Man in his beautiful flannel. Gentlemen, let's jump right into it with your best bets ahead of Week 4's main slate and a few trends here to keep in mind. Okay. So through 3 weeks, the dogs have been barking rather loudly. That's right. Hypothetically speaking, if you had bet the underdog, ATS, and the under for every game prior to Week 4, you'd be winning more than 60% of your bets right now. And shout out to Dan Campbell's Lions, favored today for the first time in 26 games. Yeah, that's right. There you go. They'll be hosting Seattle today, and 3-0 ATS for the first time since 1992. Steve, start us off. Your favorite bet today is what and why? Go ahead.
I know you're very excited about this, but going with the Eagles. Keep riding with the Eagles. That's right. -6.5 against your Jacksonville Jaguars. This is going to be the biggest test for the Jaguars so far this season. It's actually quite amazing when you think about this, because on paper they faced the Commanders, the Colts, and the Chargers. So you look at that, you'd think that they were maybe 1-2. Instead, they lost to the one team you'd think they beat, and then they beat the 2 teams you'd think that they would lose
to. And they had a 9-point lead in the fourth quarter against the Commanders,
too. I don't need your analysis. This is my analysis.
Sorry.
Okay? But the Eagles are getting a good amount of money here, 62% of the handle on them on -6.5. The Jags pass rush has been good so far, but the Eagles offensive line has been elite. And that's really where I think is going to be one of the biggest difference makers here. Jalen Hurts, when he has a clean pocket, completing over 70% of his pass attempts and averaging 11.1 yards per pass attempt. He is the only quarterback in the league averaging over 10 yards per pass attempt here. Give me the Eagles -6.5 against your Jaguars.
All right, and I know you're going to hate this, but the weather in that game does look like garbage. Like, Josh, we were talking about it earlier, right? It's supposed to be raining, wind up to 30-mile-an-hour gusts. Like, don't you think that would...
They should stop the game.
No. I'm just saying, don't you think that would play more into the hands of the visiting team, the Jaguars here?
Why?
I'd be with you, Emerson, too. Keep an eye out for the under. Wind speeds 10 miles an hour or more, 55% to the under. Does that play to your benefit here, Steve?
I don't care about the weather. The weather is the most overrated, overstated thing in the world, unless it's a hurricane. Okay. Then I'll start worrying about it. I mean, 6.5 Eagles.
And I get this is second straight road game for the Jags and on opposite coasts as well. Jules, what do you think about that one? Any chance? I know you have not been a big believer in Jacksonville this season, but the past 2 weeks, I mean, blowing out preseason playoff contenders here.
Yeah, not a big fan of him, only because of my Colts futures within the division. But when it comes to this game, the Eagles should win it at home. This could be a reality test for the Jags, but this is one of those sloppy games that I can't get invested with laying up to a touchdown. If you want to use the Eagles as a teaser leg, that's fine, but the total's been bet down significantly. If it's going to be 30-mile-an-hour winds and pouring rain, you either take the points or pass or go with the under. So I do think the Eagles should win, but only a teaser leg for me here if I'm playing it.
Okay, yeah, this would be the Eagles trying to go to 4-0 for the first time since 2004. That would have been the Donovan McNabb era. Josh, what's your favorite bet today? What's your best bet?
Yeah, my best bet, I'm going to go Tampa Bay Buccaneers here, Emerson. This is my favorite play of the day. I'm a data-driven guy. I look at the numbers pretty much strictly here, and really the numbers to me are popping out here with the Tampa Bay Bucs tonight, because if you look at the way this line has moved, this actually opened Kansas City as a 3-point favorite on the road. The Chiefs are getting 76% of bets at DraftKings. They're the big public play here. But yet, look at the number right now. It's down to a pick 'em. Some shops are even now Tampa Bay -1. I just saw a book go to Tampa Bay -1.5. So why on earth, if the public is so heavy on Patrick Mahomes, is this line moving to Tom Brady? This would classify as a reverse line move. The fact that this is a fishy number, typically, Emerson, a team's getting 75%. Shouldn't the Chiefs go from -3 up to -4? It's going the other way. So I'm going to back Tom Brady here. Brady after a loss with the Bucs, 7-2 ATS. You can look at all his Patriots stats. He's great after a loss as well. They're going to get a lot of guys back for injury, hopefully. Keep an eye on the injury report. But Mike Evans' suspension is over. Godwin, Julio, his offensive tackle Smith could be back. I really like this play here on Tampa Bay, so I'm going to go money line here on the Bucs. I love this reverse line move in their favor.
All right, Steve. So the only thing I'll say to that, Bucs allowing an average of just 9 points per game. That's the best in the NFL. However, they have yet to face an offense as good as Kansas City's.
No, I think that's the biggest difference here. I think they're going to have a hard time containing the Chiefs in this one here. So I probably would be tightened for the Chiefs, kind of like what Julian said.
Yeah.
I think you can use the Chiefs as a teaser leg, getting them up to 7-2. I think that's a nice play for this week.
All right, Jules, how do you sit on this game?
Yeah, if you checked out my NFL bets article on the DraftKings playbook, I am on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers money line. I think I put it out at -105. Missed a little bit of the value, as Josh mentioned, with the opening number here, but I needed to wait with the hurricane coming through down there, see where the game's even going to be played, and now we have assurance, Mike Evans coming back from the suspension. I think we need one of Godwin or Julio out there to be really comfortable, but more of a fade of the Chiefs. They kind of fell apart in that Indy game on both sides of the ball, as well as some special teams issues. So now you got to travel to a Tampa team off a loss. Brady 7-2 against the spread with Tampa off a loss. I just like the spot for the Bucs at home. I think they're being a little undervalued here, and that's why the line's moving the way that it's moving with sharp money.
Jules, which game are you looking at for your best bet?
Yeah, I'm going to go to a pretty gross one. We watched the Giants give one away on Monday Night Football. I'm going to lay the 2.5 here with the G-Men at home against the Bears. The main reason, I think that the Giants are a better team than the Bears, so getting them at home off a loss, good number here. But the main reason, just the Bears have been so awful against pressure. They have such a bad offensive line, and Fields has been handling the pressure terribly. So they may run the ball some with Khalil Herbert and do a good job of that, but I'm not really afraid of that beating me here if I'm the Giants. I think the Giants have a much better day than they did against the Cowboys, who lead the league in sacks. I think they're going to have a much better time against the Bears defense here. And the Giants blitz 35% of the time. They're going to get in on Justin Fields and get some sacks, get some pressures, and I just don't see the Bears doing much offensively. So I don't think we're going to need too much here from Daniel Jones through the air, Saquon Barkley on the ground to get this one to the window in terms of the Giants winning by 3 or more points at home. And if you go to the splits on VSiN from DK Sportsbook, the betting splits tend to agree throughout the week.
Yeah, I feel like the Giants should be able to seize control early in this thing, Josh, and win by at least 3-4 points.
I lean there too. I'm going to go under 2. It was a 39.5 down to 38.5. With this hurricane, wind is a factor here. Winds 15 miles an hour, rainy. I like that under in the Giants game.
All right, guys, we'll go ahead and take a quick look at just how the best bets have played out here through 3 weeks. So, Steve, you did not participate last week, so therefore you cannot win or lose, so you remain 2-0. Josh, looking good as well. Newcomer to the program. Love having you here. And then Julian. Oh.
That's why we didn't invite him.
1 and 2. Yeah, that's why we were like,
participation medal. 1 and 2. One person has participated every week, and that's me. So give me my participation medal.
That's great.
Thank you.
I've loved every fake trophy I have ever received in my life. You three hang out, though, because after the break, Zach Attack is back, Jack. Yeah, the betting impact of Zach Wilson's return plus Brady and Mahomes for likely the final time and how to use this week's injuries to your advantage. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and this week, new customers can bet $5 on any team and pocket $200 in free bets if they win. Download the app and use promo code SWEAT when you sign up. All right, welcome back to The Sweat, everybody, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm Emerson Lotze. We got DraftKings contributors, Steve Buchanan. We got Julian Edlow standing by to tell us kind of what they're sweating here. So we're going to talk trends. We're going to talk some injuries and storylines that you guys are giving some extra thought to here before placing your bets on the DK Sportsbook. So let's start in the Steel City, where Zach Wilson returns under center for the visiting Jets. His first start, his first game of the season since being injured in the preseason. What's the move here, Steve?
Yeah, I think this is great for all the Jets receivers in this one here, because if we're being quite honest, I think Joe Flacco has played better than we had expected if you look at some of his numbers here. So for them to be starting Zach Wilson in this game, I truly believe he's actually at 100% at this rate, because they could use Joe Flacco in this one if Wilson was maybe close to, but not close to being ready here. But this is great for them because Flacco only averaging 5.8 yards per pass attempt. Zach Wilson can go downfield much better with those guys like Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore. This is going to be a great spot for them overall, so I think this is huge for the Jets.
All right, so Jules, I mean, that said, is there like a wide receiver prop? I guess you'd be a little more interested in a receiving prop here on the Jets side?
No, this just points me to Steelers -3.
Okay.
The move at quarterback does nothing for me. I'm not a Zach Wilson believer to begin with. Not to mention now you're going to come off knee surgery and kind of shake the rust off in a road game at Pittsburgh. We saw, Russell Wilson didn't play in the preseason. Aaron Rodgers didn't play in the preseason. How did those guys look in week one? This is Zach Wilson's week one, and he's coming off recent knee surgery and playing on the road in Pittsburgh. I have Flacco and Zach Wilson pretty similarly rated at this stage. So this move does nothing for me, and if it moves the line towards getting a better number on Pittsburgh at home, just give me the Steelers.
All right, dude. Guys, they're also going to be wearing the white jersey, black pants combination. That's important to note because it's only the second time they've done that since they introduced it in 2019. Jules, you're a big jersey guy. Stop acting like you're not. So from black pants to the black hole, Raiders the only 0-3 team here in the NFL. So, Jules, you've talked about this a lot on our show throughout the week. Maybe desperation kicks in for them today against Denver and they climb back into a suddenly underachieving AFC West?
Yeah, the Raiders need this one, and they're taking sharp and public money. If you look at the splits, a lot of money on the Raiders, growing favorites all week at home against the Broncos. Not only are the Raiders 0-3 straight up, they're 0-3 against the spread. Not only that, the three teams that beat them, Tennessee, Arizona, and the Chargers, are a combined 0-6 straight up in all their games against everyone else. So the teams they've beaten haven't even beaten anyone yet. Yet everyone loves the Raiders in this spot. I can't quite get there on the game, but if I'm looking at this, I think the Raiders have to have a good start, and Denver hasn't been well coached. I would go with the Raiders on the first half if I was looking for a play in this one, because they have to come out, just ready to go, or we could be talking about Josh McDaniels getting fired.
Yep. Neither team has really been well coached up to this point, Steve.
No, but then to that fact, the Raiders were 1.5-point favorites last week. They touched -3 earlier this morning. Now it's back at -2.5. I think this is a spot where they're going to bounce back here. Darren Waller, I think, is going to have a huge game here. No Hunter Renfrow. I think this is a great spot for the Raiders to get that first win.
What about injuries? Which injuries have you sweating?
I mean, I think the McCaffrey one is something to really kind of keep an eye on here, because it's really uncertain if he's going to be playing or not, and that's really been the Panthers' big sky here so far. But if he doesn't play, I think that really maybe we can get DJ Moore going finally, because he's been someone that has been the victim of this poor quarterback play. He's seen 6 targets in 3 straight games, but he's barely gone over 88 receiving yards. So I think McCaffrey, if he does that end up being out or limited, that's really going to do wonders for these receivers, because they really all need to get going here.
All right, Jules, how about you, man?
Lions injury report. You see DeAndre Swift on the board there, but that doesn't include St. Brown, who's been one of the best receivers in the NFL, and DJ Chark. So many guys that are carrying the ball or catching the ball at the skill positions out for Detroit against a pretty poor Seattle defense that now has to travel. Somebody's got to step up. I think Jamal Williams is in for a large workload both on the ground and through the air. But it's definitely Detroit missing so many guys that have had so much production for them so far this season in what's been a really good offense.
All right, we'll wrap up with this one, guys. Sunday Night Football. We had the Bucs hosting Kansas City. Josh talked about it in our first segment here, but anything you're sweating in this game?
I just think that there's a lot of love going for the Bucs so far, and rightfully so. But this team really hasn't even played together at all. There's been so many injuries, suspensions. This team hasn't gotten into a groove where the Chiefs have been. I think that's going to be a big advantage for them here tonight.
Hey, Jules, you also mentioned earlier, I believe, just how good the Bucs are bouncing back after a straight-up loss.
Yeah, Brady in general really good off a loss in his career, and he should be getting a lot of guys back that can make a difference in this game. So what I'm sweating more from the Kansas City side.
Yeah.
If some of that stuff we saw in Indy last week is going to carry over and create more problems, both on special teams. You have Mahomes getting into it with offensive coordinators. You have defensive issues. How much of that is going to carry over?
All right, nice work, fellas. We're going to wrap up the show with you two and Josh talking Sunday specials in a little bit. But first, we are joined by the previously big and beefy Ross Tucker to break down this week's matchup between two first-place teams, the Eagles and America's team, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Good God.
All right, back here on the Sweat, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, presenting to you the current MVP odds. Yeah, it's a quarterback award, and Josh Allen continues to be the favorite. Lamar Jackson sitting second. His numbers through 3 weeks are the best of his career, and Jalen Hurts, the shortest odds of anyone in the NFC, no longer an MVP sleeper. A man who covers the Eagles signal caller quite a bit joins us now. We got podcaster, we got broadcaster, we got former NFL lineman Ross Tucker here on the horn with us. So I don't think you could be that surprised with Hurts' rise up the MVP board here, man. But could you make an argument that the odds should actually be a little shorter?
Well, I think you could, right? I mean, it's a small sample size.
Yes.
It's only 3 games, but they're the only undefeated team in the NFL right now. And we know that that goes a long way towards who the MVP is, right? The MVP is always going to be a quarterback of one of the best teams in the league. Hurts has played very well. Again, admittedly small sample size. There's a long way to go. But based on what he's done so far this year, yeah, I can see why his odds are getting shorter and shorter by the week.
So it's impossible, yeah, not to be impressed with his on-field performance, especially like last week in week 3. It was the best passing performance of any quarterback in the league, which kind of has me nervous a little bit today for my Jags in Philly here, Ross. The Doug Peterson revenge game, a first-place America's team. Are they good enough? Are they good enough to keep this thing close and cover what is currently a 6.5-point spread?
Without question. Emerson, I think the Jags are legit. I mean, I've been saying it all week on the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. You're talking about a team that's won back-to-back NFL games by 24 or more points. That just doesn't happen in the NFL. Their front seven on defense is ferocious.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence is getting rid of the ball so much faster than he did last year, which is a good indicator of a quarterback that knows what he's doing. And after having Urban Meyer last year, man, it is clear they love Doug Peterson. They know this game means a lot to him. The Jaguars are going to come out playing hard today. I can only lean the Jags getting the points. I can't lay that many with the Eagles, especially in the inclement weather.
Doug Peterson's going to have a warm welcome there, isn't he?
He is. I would expect a standing ovation.
Yep.
Those people waited a long time for a Super Bowl, and he delivered it. Everybody loves him. They don't blame him for how it ended. Frankly, they blame Carson Wentz, and he'll get a standing ovation, and then they will boo the crap out of the Jags the rest of the game.
Well, Jags and the Eagles both 2-1 ATS on this young season. Same for the Bills and Ravens. So which side are you on in that game, Ross?
I love the Ravens. This is one of my favorite bets of the week. I don't really understand why the Bills are laying 3.5 on the road. You know, the Bills just had that tough game in Miami on Sunday. They are still really banged up. I think Lamar Jackson is the MVP of the NFL through the first 3 weeks. He has been fantastic. Ravens playing at home. I think the Ravens have a great chance to win the game outright. You're going to give me 3.5 points. I'm going to take them. That was a 2-unit play for me on the Even Money podcast this week.
All right, which other games interest you today from a betting perspective, dude?
Titans, Colts. Why are the Colts giving the Titans 3.5 points? Who are the Colts to be giving anybody points? I know they beat the Chiefs last week. Look at the yards per play. Look at any stat in that game. Colts were incredibly fortunate. That was really a special teams issue for the Chiefs. That's why the Colts won that game. I think Titans-Colts toss-up. Anytime, Emerson, I'm getting 3 in the hook in a toss-up game, I'm all over it. Give me Tennessee.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, the road team is 6-1 ATS in the last 7 meetings between those two AFC South rivals as well, dude. So before you take off, what's cooking on the podcast? What can you tease for us, babe?
A lot. Steve Fezzik and I are off to a great start on the Even Money Betting podcast. Joe Dolan's been blowing me away with his information on the Fantasy Feast podcast this year. And Greg Cosell, I call him the civilian GOAT, dominates on the Ross Tucker football podcast. We are rolling, bro.
Yeah, man. You and Mr. Cosell, you guys do pump out some great content together. I will say that. I love when it crosses my timeline on Twitter. So keep up the great work, Ross. Because
Thank you, buddy.
Your job here is done. Mine is not. We're bringing back Steve, Jules, and Josh for their Sunday special bets after our final break. Let's go. All right, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to early morning football in London. Vikings and Saints are underway across the pond. Minnesota up 16-7 midway through the third, by the way. And taking a look at some of the betting trends for this one. So 77% of the bets were on Minnesota to cover the 3.5-point spread, which Minnesota has covered just 1 and 2 ATS this season. Saints, though, 0 and 3. 53% of the bets on the game to go over 41.5 points. Chris Olave, over 59.5 receiving yards was the most bet player prop, by the way. He's one of 2 touchdown scorers up to this point in the game with Alexander Madison. So Chris Olave's first touchdown as an NFL wide receiver. Steve and Josh, Julian are also back sharing their Sunday specials here. So your favorite parlays, promos, and other fun bets you can find on the DK Sportsbook this week. Jules, go ahead. Share us yours.
Yeah, so if you watched the games last week, you know that Carson Wentz, behind not all that bad of an offensive line, was sacked 9 times. This week, he goes on the road to face the Dallas Cowboys, who lead the NFL in sacks. Most of us watched Monday Night Football, saw the pressure they were getting on Daniel Jones. First quarterback of the day to go down. So this one's a little random. We'll see who starts with the ball. Is it Dallas? Hopefully it's Washington. Justin Fields is going to get sacked plenty in New York. But Carson Wentz, the first quarterback of the day to be sacked. He's the favorite at plus 800. I'm hoping they just kick it off to Washington, and that first drive will have a Dallas sack on Carson Wentz.
Steve, you going to that same game for yours?
Yeah, I kind of put one together here. So Cowboys, at least 4 sacks in the game. Wentz under 274.5 passing. Pollard, touchdown, plus 750. A lot of the analysis that Julian just gave.
Love your creativity here. Josh, real quick here, dude.
Real quick, Jackson Allen going to that Bills-Ravens game, plus 190 for both these quarterbacks, 500-plus passing yards, 100-plus rushing. TD for both here. Highest total on the board here at 50. Baltimore, worst pass defense in the NFL. Let's get a lot of points there.
2 MVP favorites right now in the DK Sportsbooks. That's all the time we have this week, everybody. If you're jonesing for more Sunday bets and how about some help with your fantasy lineups, join us right now over on the DraftKings social media page. So YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Let's go. All right, back here on The Sweat, everybody. I am your host, Emerson Lotzi. We got 30 minutes to go. So whether you've been watching us on your TV sets there in New York, Philly, the Mid-Atlantic, or on our social media channels here, we appreciate you for sticking with us as we move to the second half hour here of our show. Bunch of Week 4 NFL coverage coming up. Speaking of Week 4, you want to become a millionaire? Yeah, of course you do. Well, just fill out a lineup and win this Millie Maker contest right now in the DK lobby. It's that easy. Yeah, just win it. $4 million in prizes up for grabs, $1 million to the winner. And if you need some help winning this thing, don't you worry. We got Jeff Ulrich, we got Julian Edlow standing by to help you guys and gals build a money-making lineup. We're price checking, so your favorite DFS plays at the following positions. We're going to start at quarterback. Jeff Ulrich, I did not expect to see this name come up in this segment today.
Big G.
Big
Gino
G.
Smith, baby,
Oh,
5,400. Let's go. We got, look, the quarterback, it's cheap or expensive. You're paying up for the elite guys.
Yep.
Lamar, Josh Allen, or you're going all the way to the bottom. Gino Smith going up. We got 2 bad defenses going up against each other. in Detroit. Is Seattle and Detroit both bottom 10 in terms of pass defense. He's attached to 2 elite wide receivers. Emerson, this is a great game environment for Gino Smith. He does bring a little bit of rushing upside too. I really like going to the Seattle stack, 5,400. Give me Big G.
Yo, I'm going to say this. Lions are allowing 24 points to quarterbacks, which ranks 30th in the NFL. 24 DK fantasy points. Jules, you're the complete opposite. You're going to the top of the board, aren't you?
Yeah, Jeff is right. You're either paying down or you're paying all the way up, and it is a good matchup for Geno Smith, but I'm going with the 8,400 for Josh Allen, going against a Baltimore secondary that is all kinds of dinged up. High total in the 50s on the board here, and the rushing ability. I think that Josh Allen in a bounce-back spot off that Miami game is in a really good spot to put up 30 to 40 DK points.
Jeff, since you went down at quarterback, you're going all the way up at running back.
That's right. I have to save money because I'm breaking out the purse strings at running back. Jonathan Taylor is 8,800 this week. My goodness, this guy, I think most people thought he'd be 10K by week 4. So Tennessee, last in yards per carry against the really missing Harold Landry. Jonathan Taylor has scored a touchdown in 8 straight home games when the Colts have been a favorite. I think he breaks out here. He's also been very good as a receiver against Tennessee in the past. He's under 9K. I think you need to get a piece of Jonathan Taylor this week.
All right, who do you need to get a piece of at running back, Jules?
Yeah, I spent up at quarterback, so I'll spend down a little bit here. There's a lot of good options in the 5K to 6K range. I'm going with Jamal Williams of the Lions at 6,100. Good matchup against Seattle, but we already talked about it. No DeAndre Swift, no St. Brown, no Charks. Somebody's got to get touches in this offense, and it's going to be Jamal Williams.
Okay, let's go to wide receiver. Jeff Ulrich, who do you want? How much money are you spending here?
Man, week 4, I did not think I would be talking about a Cleveland Brown wide receiver. Amari Cooper is only 6,100. Atlanta is a bad secondary. They're not a bad team, but they're bad secondary. 4th most fantasy points allowed to the wide receiver position thus far. Amari Cooper is 9th in team target share. He's playing in a dome, which we know he loves to do because of his days in Dallas. You keep riding this train, folks. And look, Myles Garrett out. This could be a shootout with Atlanta. Amari Cooper, 6,100. I love this play this week.
All right, who's your wide receiver? Jules.
Michael Pittman, 7,200. The 2 games that he has been active with Matt Ryan, he has gotten a ton of targets. This is the go-to guy at a wide receiver position that's not very deep, and it's a good matchup against a poor Tennessee secondary with Indy playing at home here.
Jeff, I like your tight end pick,
really?
considering, and Jules, we talked about it earlier as well. That Lions injury report is gross. So TJ Hawkinson day incoming.
Look, if TJ Hawkinson can't go off here, or at least post a decent game, you can pretty much just forget about him the rest of the season. No Amon-Ra St. Brown, Shark, Swift, all out. Seattle's a bottom 10 defense in terms of defending against the tight end. They were last year as well. He should push for 8 to 10 targets here. He's cheap. I just have no reason to think you should not play him in this game environment. And like I said, if he doesn't do it here, just throw him in the garbage can. That's it. Just delete him from your computer.
All right, Jules, you're going with someone who went off and had a career week last week.
Yeah, David Njoku's only $3,700 in Atlanta. Jeff and I are kind of taking pieces of the same game here with different guys. He laid it out for Amari Cooper. I think Njoku's in a spot to have a really good game as well. And on paper, the Falcons have been pretty poor against the tight end position thus far.
Okay, guys, I can't believe it. We actually have time to hit on DST.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff, who's your group this week?
Hey, give us a couple weeks to iron out the crinkles here. I mean, look, I'm glad too because we're riding this week at DST. It's Broncos 2,700. No idea why the Broncos are underdogs this week. Derek Carr couldn't crack a 60% completion rate against Arizona and Tennessee, 2 of the worst secondaries in the league. Broncos D-line is getting pressure. The 2,700. No one's playing these guys. Take Denver.
All right, and Jules, who do you like? Looks like the Cowboys?
It's pretty clear this week. There's a new guy on the segment, first time, and we get it all done. Producer Slate's told me
this
to be
is
quick.
unbelievable.
It's the Cowboys. They're going to sack Carson Wentz 1,000,000 times.
Oh my God, we're actually light. Like I'm kind of uncomfortable.
Julian taking credit.
No,
for this?
we're
Is
done.
that
We're done. No, shut up.
no.
We don't want you guys to ruin it because Jeff, I'm sure you'll go long when we bring you back for primetime picks. And we also have Steve Buchanan standing by to share his spicy stacks. So Steve's spicy stacks, which will involve him eating extremely spicy foods. We're all very concerned. We have medical personnel standing by.
This is what we save time for.
Yeah, for sure. One of them, by the way, in those stacks may include Stefan Diggs. You spent some time catching up with Dan Levitard this week ahead of Buffalo's clash with Baltimore today.
How has the Buffalo experience been for you? Because you have gone from, I don't know if perhaps it feels like you've done what Tyreek Hill did, where you went from one place where you were a vital cog but perhaps not the biggest star on the team, even though perhaps you should have been, to now going to Buffalo, making a quarterback an MVP candidate, and everyone can see how good you are at this.
I mean, it's been one of those, like, I keep saying it's like that perfect part in the movie. I'm just waiting for it to transpire, to come into fruition. I've just been riding these things out, trying not to ride the roller coaster too much because it's been so much good. Throughout this process, I feel like Bills Mafia welcomed me. Everybody knows Bills Mafia. They go crazy. I've never been a part of a fan base like this, and just my team. I love this team. I feel like it was a blessing, more of a blessing for them to welcome me than to me be here. I'm really thankful for that. I can hang my hat on that. They mess with me over here. I like them over here.
When you look at skill guys, collections of skill guys in the league, what are the groups that you like the best? Because you went from one that was plenty strong with you to one that is still very strong without you. But when I say skill guys, I'm not even counting the quarterback in there. I'm talking about the guys around the quarterback.
Mean like wide receiver groups?
Yeah, wide receivers and running backs. Just what you believe to be your offense hadn't had a 3rd and 10 until Sunday. The third quarter, you guys hadn't had a 3rd and 10. That doesn't that seems crazy to me. How well you guys are playing offense.
We have one of those for sure. As far as like at the quarterback position, we have a lot of talent, like crazy talent. That's special talent. We got some guys on the outside that can win, especially in the middle. Isaiah McKenzie, Jamison Crowder, Gabriel Davis. We got Dawson Knox. We even got a fullback that can get open. And Motor Singletary. Like, we got a lot of guys. I think we're up there with talent. I feel like who else is up there with talent? Cincinnati has some great guys on the outside, a great quarterback play. Justin Hibbert is playing balls out as usual. He throws a hell of a ball. It's nothing new. I feel like Tom Brady makes something happen. And Patrick Mahomes still slinging the ball around at a high clip. I feel like we're up there with guys that are explosive, but it's a lot of guys out there. Even Miami. I mean, I feel like they still had an explosive day. They got some receivers that can run extremely fast, so I'm a fan.
All right, so check this out. Diggs and Allen today. You feel like stacking these two all-stars, these two gentlemen? Yeah, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. So nearly $17,000 in DFS, but both of them averaging north of 30 points a game, combining for 62.8 fantasy points per game. So yeah, you kind of get back what you invest in those two guys. And they're going to be taking on Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens today. A lot of salary there. But we also have, as it will cost you a pretty penny, if you're looking for other options, other dudes to stack, don't worry, we have a man here for that. A man who's going to honor our friends in Buffalo by sharing his spicy stacks. Steve's Spicy Stacks. So he's going to give us 3 of them. Listen up. A mild or a safe stack. A medium or more risky stack. Ooh. And then a hot or very extremely risky stack.
It's
real spicy.
Carolina Reaper.
Oh my God.
Right.
Yep. And you're going to do it all. We buried the lead. You're going to do it all while you eat the corresponding buffalo wings.
Right. So we are starting with that Josh Allen and Stefan Diggs stack as I grab my mild.
This is your mild wing.
This is the
so
mild.
Take a bite. You got to take a bite. And then you're going to share with us why you like them for your mild stack.
All right, first of all, great wings, first and foremost. We'll talk about this stack here. I mean, the Ravens have allowed the most total yards in the league so far this season. You look at Diggs, he's been a dynamic 27 of his 33 targets that he's caught, 344 yards, and 4 touchdowns so far. This is going to take up 34% of your salary. But for one of the highest projected games that we have on this slate, that's going to be a stack you got to be considering here. So that's that one there. Good wings.
Dude, your mom would hate this because you just continue to talk with your mouth full.
I know, it's really rude. All right, for the medium stack here, we're going to go with Matt Ryan.
Wait.
Right?
Ooh. Matt Ryan, he has 1 game of 20-plus points scored this season. Oh, God. Wait a minute. All right, so we do have a liquid. We were told we weren't going to do liquids. A cream of some sort. Milk?
Oh, yeah. A little bit of chokage there.
Wow, your face is turning red.
And then we're going to go with Michael Pittman at 7,200. Let's get this one here.
What are you doing right now?
This is medium.
Is that a medium? You're doing another medium bite. Okay. So there's hope on the horizon here.
There is hope on the horizon here.
And that's the Titans defense, I'm assuming.
This one here, 12,600, 25% of your salary. Pittman has drawn 22 targets even with missing 17 a game so far, 17 receptions, 193 yards here. Titans, ton of points to the quarterback position here. Third most in the league thus far. I know Matt Ryan's been kind of a boom or bust so far.
Yeah.
But this is a good spot here for Ryan and Pittman. Love this one a lot here. I think it's going to get you a lot of points here. Pittman's in a really good spot here. This is spicier than I expected.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Is that what you have for that? All right, so now we have one more stack here, people. We have one more Steve spicy stacks, and this one is the spiciest of them all, as he sucks down more of that milk, almond milk, regular milk, whatever it is. And this is kind of crazy what you're about to do.
For the spicy stack, we're doing Jared Goff and Josh Reynolds.
Wait a minute, have you taken a bite of it yet?
I'm taking a bite right now.
You have to take a bite before
I
you
had to
explain
at
it. That's
least
part
get
of the
that
game.
out there. I had to at least get that out there because I don't know what's gonna happen after this. Okay, talking while trying to do this on television is extremely difficult.
Yeah.
So let me get them up here on the screen first. Got Goff, okay?
No.
We're gonna do Reynolds.
Hold on.
I'm gonna give the analysis after I bite. I have to at least get the stack on screen. Okay, give me a break here. You think this is easy?
Yeah,
this is not easy.
I think you clicked the wrong quarterback. That's why I was trying to cut you
No,
off.
I did not.
think
No, I didn't. No,
I
I
think you
didn't.
clicked maybe Deshaun Watson, which he's not
I
going to be
didn't. I
playing
know
for quite some
he's
time.
definitely not playing. I don't
Yeah.
know. Here we go. Deshaun Watson's not playing, so we're gonna do Jared Goff.
All right, there he is. Your
There he is, right there.
Where'd he go?
Right above you, too.
There it is.
Here we go.
Okay.
Carolina Reaper.
Oh, there's just no way. There's no way you're going to
Okay. There's no Amon St. Brown. There's no DJ Chark. And there's no DeAndre Swift. Here it comes. Here it comes. Oh, it's coming now. Oh, it's coming now. Josh Reynolds. Is that his name? Yeah. Josh Reynolds. Last week before he departed.
Oh my
Going for
God,
more.
he wants more? That's how spicy this take is. This is dangerously
Before Reynolds
spicy.
departed the game, 10 catches for 90 yards. My notes are gone. The average distance to target of 15.4 yards when he's
Yeah.
on the field. This is a good stack. This is a
Oh
good
my
stack.
God. I mean, Goff's averaging
That's a good
19
stack.
points per game this
Yep.
season. So he's going to need to throw the ball more with DeAndre Swift out and basically everybody else. I love this because I picked up Josh Reynolds in my season long.
Yep, and this is going to be a good stack against the Seattle Seahawks. I almost said Seattle Mariners. They didn't make the playoffs, by the way. This is your value stack for the week. Only 21% of your salary. So this is a stack. This is definitely a stack that you should be going with here for this week. Please end the segment. I'm done.
Yeah, cool
Almost
your
done.
mouth off. Suck down more of the milk there. Come on, because we need you. We need you in our last block of the show.
I'll do it.
Okay? You're going to be all right? You're going to survive?
I'll take another bite.
All right. Chill out for a little bit because now it's time for some primetime picks. Josh, I'm glad you're here. I didn't know if you were going to have to step in there and start eating wings yourself because, man, I thought we were going to lose Steve for a second. Jeff Ulrich, you're also back as well. How do you think Steve did? He's alive.
My eyes are watering just from watching Steve eat those wings. So I mean, I mean, he did fine. Like he really did. He told us who the quarterback was. That in itself was an accomplishment.
He got through it. Yeah, and the Goff Reynolds stack kind of reminds me a lot of.
I like the Deshaun Watson, Reynolds stack. I thought that was really brave. That was really spicy.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, that was Carolina Reaper spicy for sure. So you and Josh are here for some primetime picks. So Jeff, we're going to let you take care of the DFS portion of this. You'll take care of the bets. So look at the primetime games. So tonight it's the Chiefs at the Bucks, and then tomorrow night we get the Rams at the 49ers. So let's start with tonight. And Jeff, we'll go with you. Who are you going to captain tonight? So 1.5 times the salary, but 1.5 times the points in return.
Yeah, so I mean, look, Tampa Bay KC, this has a low point total. I think most people at this point in the year thought we'd have like a 54-point total here. Two GOAT quarterbacks going up against each other. The defenses are the story here. I'm looking for a low-scoring game. And Tampa Bay just does not allow rushing touchdowns. I think that Patrick Mahomes is the player you should be paying up for here. I like KC slightly in this game. And I think if Kansas City scores 3 times, Mahomes is going to be involved in all of those touchdowns. I think there's a good possibility he could even run for a touchdown here. Obviously, just Tampa Bay, on the Tampa Bay side, they've got 3 touchdowns on the entire season. I think that the upside is still with the KC offense, and I think that Mahomes has the best chance of, like I said, just being that top scorer in a game where I'm not actually expecting that many points.
All right, Josh, and I believe this was your best bet, too, at the top of the show. So for anyone who missed the first 30 minutes of the show. First off, shame on you. And then second, go ahead and remind us once again why it was the Bucks money line.
Yeah, it was Bucks money line here. I mean, you could go -1 if you want to save a little juice, get -110 here. I go money lines on short numbers just because, hey, you win by 1. You want to win your bet instead of push your bet. But number 1, just this line move, it really jumped out to me. The fact that you have such heavy betting on Kansas City, 76% of bets at DraftKings are going Patrick Mahomes, but yet the line's going to Tom Brady. This is one of the early things I learned as a data-driven contrarian bettor. If all the bets are on one side, but the line goes the other way, a lot of times, public bettors will double down and just bet Kansas City at a better number again and again. But take a step back. Ask yourself why you're getting a better number on Kansas City. It's because it looks like a lot of respected money is going Tom Brady here. So I'm going to go with Brady. Julian and I have been mentioning this. Brady off a loss has been great, straight up and ATS. He's getting a lot of guys back here. Hopefully pay attention to the injury report. So money line here, Bucks. And also Jeff hit the nail on the head. I'd be looking for a low-scoring game here. Unders have been fantastic in the NFL. They're 63% so far this year. Primetime unders. When you get really heavy betting in these heavily bet spots, public loves the over. You see the line fall. This was 48.5 down to 46-ish. Primetime unders 8-3. Vinovich, 59% the lead ref to the under. I lean under here, but give me the money line on the Bucks.
Yeah, that's a low total tomorrow night as well for Monday Night Football. So Rams at the 49ers. DFS side again. Who you paying up for at captain, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good spot to buy into just really low sentiment on the San Francisco offense. I mean, coming off the 11-10 game where people were literally just, drying their eyes out with bleach, trying to get rid of it after, I think that Deebo Samuel is where you go here. I really do. I mean, long term, he is going to get a bump with Jimmy Garoppolo as his quarterback. We saw it happen last year. San Francisco will use him more as part of the running attack without Trey Lance. And, I mean, it's a small sample size, but he absolutely decimated the Rams last year. 3 touchdowns, a bunch of receiving yards, was actually really efficient as a wide receiver. Kyle Shanahan just schemes extremely well against the Rams. I think paying up for Deebo Samuel, I think jumping on the 49ers here actually just to win this game is a good play too. And that translating that to DFS means 49ers-centric stacks where you build around a big game from Deebo. So give me Deebo Samuel. He's the 3rd most expensive player, so he's not going to cost you, your whole bankroll either.
Yeah, is he someone I guess you would consider stacking with Jimmy G? You brave enough to put Jimmy G in there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, the way that Kyle Shanahan schemes has been so effective against the Rams. They've beaten them in, I think it's 6 straight regular season matchups now. They obviously lost against the playoffs, but the big thing about Deebo too, you've already seen his target share go up with Jimmy G as quarterback. 8 targets last week, still can get used as that rushing component. There's just so much upside with this player. And again, with Trey Lance out, I just think you're going to see more and more usage from Deebo as the season goes on.
It's crazy too, guys. Look at this head-to-head matchup between these 2 head coaches. And Josh, Kyle Shanahan, 7-3 head-to-head against Sean McVay in the regular season.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You talk about coaches having another coach's number. Shanahan has the number of McVay. Obviously, McVay got the big one in the playoffs, but 6-0 the last 6. Head-to-head, just straight up Shanahan over McVay. And I'm with Jeff on this one. Give me the San Francisco 49ers. On the one hand, dogs have been great this year. If you like the Rams, I get it. You're getting, 1.5 here at this point. But this is such a public play. I think if you like Tampa Bay in the spot Sunday night, you really like San Fran in the same or similar spot tomorrow night because you're getting such heavy betting on the Rams here. Obviously they're getting like 68% of bets at DraftKings, but also it's a buy low, sell high. The Rams are coming off a win and a cover. San Fran lost in prime time to the Broncos there. So I always love it when a team is getting a line move in their favor, yet they're coming off a loss versus the other team coming off a win. Really contrarian spot here. The 1.5 is important because I think if you see this thing get back up to 2, that's further validation San Fran's taking in money. Give me San Fran here. And also unders. It's a low total, 42.5, but divisional unders are 14-4 this year. They've done very well. I like San Fran here to win this game. I'll go money line Niners.
Yeah, and just in terms of the spread too. So currently on the DK Sportsbook, 49ers 1.5 point home favorites. 49ers have had the Rams number too as of late. 5-0 ATS in their last meetings. And in San Francisco, the Rams have not been very good at covering the spread. 2-5 ATS in their last 7 trips. All right, everybody, we're going to be back coming up after this quick break because you guys are going to share with us your touchdown score prop bets tonight. That's right after we have the best of the sweat delivered to you right now because this is a show we do Monday through Friday, 11 o'clock Eastern time, every single morning. Let's just roll the open. Let's start the show.
This week on The Sweat.
Today is Mike Golick Jr.'s 33rd birthday. Also, gentlemen, we're going to be celebrating the birthday of living legend Cooper Rush in less than 2 months.
Long may he reign, Cooper Rush, first of his name.
I was trying to find future odds for Cooper Rush MVP. We haven't put it up yet from DraftKings. We got to get on that.
The Buffalo Bills suffered their first loss of the season on Sunday.
Is there a mistake, or is it just we lose?
Nah, I think it's we lose because Lil Dirty was trying to get out of bounds.
I think that the Bills are going to be super pissed after losing that game. They should have won last week.
It's been 7 games now since Aaron Judge has hit a home run. The man is stuck at 60.
Aaron Judge saw 33 pitches last night.
Yeah.
Pick one and hit it over the fence, man. Swing the bat.
He's not going to hit 61.
I think you may have just buried the hottest take of the two.
I don't even. I think a lot of people feel that way though. That's like a majority opinion at this point.
Is it time to bring back steroids in baseball?
Sure, why not?
Mike, is this going to be the last time that Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes face off?
I had said a few years ago that Tom would only play a couple of more years, and I, along with a lot of other people, were wrong. He has made us all look foolish with how long he's playing.
We've got Jeff Ulrich back with us once again, our man, the myth, the legend, for Monday Night Showdown picks.
Player I want to fade on Dallas really is Michael Gallup. How much is Michael Gallup even going to play?
An easy decision
You
right now.
just actually did something with your mind because he's
now
not
reports
playing.
are that he's not going to play tonight. So you have absolutely nailed your fade.
You just faded him out of the game.
Julian's over here hanging out in studio. Very excited to be here, aren't you, Jules?
Very
Okay.
excited. trying to drink some coffee over here, and you're putting me on camera.
Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm good. I just had some coffee, as you all saw,
Yep.
and Billy put the camera in my face just like this, as he's doing now. And we're ready to welcome back Hidden Jules.
Hidden Jules is back. We are so
There's a graphic
desperate.
for this. There
we
it is.
are so desperate. Let's go. Our week-long national nightmare is finally over. Aaron Judge decides to swing the bat. What are your thoughts on that dude who dropped the home run ball?
As someone who has sat front row, that's like a 20-foot drop. I feel like I'm missing that ball too.
Man, if I'm this guy, like, I'm going to drop down, I'm going to jump down to the woman. I'm like, your legs would definitely be broken, but you could pay to fix them with the millions of dollars that you have with that ball.
He's Canadian, so he doesn't have to pay to fix his legs at all.
That's true. Free healthcare. Time now for you to deliver the eulogy for the 2022 Red Sox season.
April sucked. May sucked. June was fun. July sucked. August sucked, and now September sucked.
I feel like you're still struggling over there after you had.
You know the worst part is like it's just on my lips.
Away?
It's on my lips and like it won't go away.
There's a little bit of milk left in the cup over there.
I think it's.
Should we bring it over? I feel like you reacted more strongly to the medium wing, and the Carolina Reaper, you kind of hung in there like a.
They were a champ on that one.
The Carolina Reaper snuck up on me after.
Oh.
It took a couple seconds.
Right.
Once
So
I
it's
started,
like a deleted
once I
scene.
started drinking, it's over.
All right. Well, I'm glad you've made it to this final box.
Thank
Steve
you.
Buchanan, Josh Applebaum, and Julian Edlow joining us once again virtually. So this is the end zone here, dudes. We're closing the show with our favorite touchdown scorer bets this week. So from week 3, some of the big money makers in this betting department, this prop bet department. So Brandon Ayuk, look at that, man. Look at the plus money on that, Bukes. Plus 850 to score the first touchdown last week. So Nick Chubb, anytime touchdown. Saquon's on there. First and anytime touchdown. And then Najee Harris, anytime touchdown as well. That was plus 135 odds. So, like, we look ahead to this week. And, Jules, I'll let you go first here. Who do you like as a touchdown scorer on the DK Sportsbook today?
Yeah, we've touched on the Detroit Lions a lot. Who's in, who's out. No St. Brown, no Chark, no DeAndre Swift. So I am going with Jamal Williams at minus 130 here anytime. His carries are set at 16.5. So the games without Swift, he generally gets around 20 carries. He's going to be touching the ball, and he might be a bigger part of the receiving game given the receivers that are out for this one. So there you go. It's going the other way, minus 125, even better. High total. Lions games have been going over. I think that this one, he's just going to touch the ball so much.
Yeah.
I expect him to get in there at some point.
I mean, I'm shocked you didn't go with Josh Reynolds after watching your spicy stacks segment.
Right. I fully expected that. But you know what? He's probably a better man for not doing that.
The color on your face is just so different right now. You're red. Your lips are
His voice
swollen.
still.
My lips are definitely.
Like I feel like your throat is closing on you.
It very well could be. Well, that's why on the first initial one, I just started choking. Like I couldn't swallow. Like it wasn't even hot. I just started choking. That was the issue.
Your meaty, greasy fingers like touching the touch screen too.
I use my pinky. I made sure to just
Cody
use
back there
pinky.
is probably just wants to murder you. Where
No,
are you going for your touchdown score?
Cody enjoyed the entertainment. I'm going to go with Michael Pittman Jr. to score an anytime touchdown. You're getting that at plus 135. I kind of talked about it during the stack segment. Apologies if I didn't get the information all out coherently. But really good matchup. No matter what cornerback is going up against him, whether it's Terrence Missile, whether it's Kristen Fulton. I'm still kind of recovering here. Both those quarterbacks have allowed over 100 receiving yards already. Both of them are allowing an average of 17 yards per reception at this point. We talked about how the Colts have been kind of up and down here, but Pittman has been the one shining bright star in this offense so far, aside from Jonathan Taylor. So I think this is a great spot for him against a really, really bad Titan secondary. So giving him as an anytime touchdown score at plus 135.
Yeah, we kind of mentioned it earlier too. Like Matt Ryan has just been so underwhelming. Like he's just delivered just such a wide range of emotions in his early time there in Indianapolis. Again, just one game of 20+ points scored, fantasy points scored this season. Josh, who do you like as your anytime touchdown scorer or whatever?
Yeah, I'm going to go to a big guy here, Stefan Diggs. I know this is a big name player, but it's only minus 105 for Diggs to get anytime touchdown today. Obviously, when you're betting these, you're looking for a bigger payout. You want to get a plus 200, plus 500. I lean a little bit on these, closer to even money type odds. Just tells me it's more likely to happen, so you're sacrificing a bigger payout by maybe a more likelihood that it happens for you. But Stefan Diggs, I really like the matchup here against Baltimore's secondary. Baltimore's giving up over 350 passing yards a game. Diggs has obviously been one of the best wide receivers so far this season. 27 catches, 344 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's tied for first in the NFL in terms of total touchdowns. He's number 3 in terms of targets. So I'm going to see if Diggs can get us in the end zone today. Okay. Just a real quick comment on a couple games you guys talked about from a betting angle.
How about it?
Yeah, I just want to throw this one at you. Seattle-Detroit. Detroit 3-0 ATS. Yes. Campbell's been great as a dog, but as you mentioned, Emerson, he's favored now today. And I think a lot of money here, or basically what you're seeing across the market, is Seattle with some points here. Could be worth a look. This game opened as high as Detroit laying 6. Obviously, you have a lot of injuries here. Brought this line down to 4 this morning. Now it's down to 3.5. And the 3.5 plus 3.5 is juice minus 115 to Seattle. So I would look toward betting against Detroit here. Take the points with Seattle. If you like them, you probably want the 3.5 now because the hook could be leaving you going down to 3. And also Indy. Indy, Tennessee. You have a lot of betting on Tennessee here. It's a divisional game. Take the points. Shaq Leonard, or Darius Leonard, is now in the lineup here. And Indy did go from -3 to -4. So I didn't play Indy, but to me, that's kind of notable that public's leaning Tennessee, but line's going to Indy. But I really do like that Seattle plus 3.5.
Yeah. Hey, Jules, what are your expectations for that Bills-Baltimore game today? Because it looks like it could just be an absolute fantasy bonanza because you consider Baltimore's offense as well. I know you were hitting on during the stack segment with Diggs and Allen, but I'm just saying that's going to force Buffalo, and even on the flip side, each other. They're going to force each other to keep their foot on the accelerator all day long.
Yeah, and yet the total keeps going down because of the weather situation. Yeah. But it's looking more and more like Jacksonville and Philly is going to be the game most affected by weather. That things will clear out a little bit, at least as the game goes on in Baltimore. So, yeah, I think we're going to see points there. I am on the over for Buffalo and Baltimore.
Okay. All right, everybody. That's it. That's a show.
God, thank goodness.
Dude, you gotta go
get some wings.
Take a shower. Yeah, I don't know. You look disgusting. That's for sure. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us and watching us. So the show will be back here tomorrow morning, live in studio, 11 o'clock Eastern time. So we'll do some overreaction as we love to do on Monday. So thanks again for watching. We're also back on your TVs next Sunday, starting 11 o'clock Eastern time as well. Adios. Enjoy week 4.